started recording this album, I had a bunch of songs that were really stripped down songs, songs that I'd been working on for quite a while, and I was looking for a producer who could capture that sort of raw feeling of the songs, and so I met Dan Roberts. When I walked into his house, he had this beautiful studio that I was immediately taken with. It's filled with mandolins and banjos and all sorts of instruments, and just a really kind of homely feel.
Short memory delights me like a goldfish. I can swim round and round in your life, and I notice just like it's the first time we kissed. Times 1,000 more to come, and I can't wait.
The instrumentation surprised me because it wasn't planned. What generally would happen is that there'd be musicians in the room and someone would say, you know, or a musician who Dan knew would come into the room and he'd say, oh, don't you want to try this, don't you want to try that? And that really worked out for us. And Dan picked up a lot of instruments and just tried things out, and they worked really well. So I think we've definitely given the album a unique kind of feel through the instrumentation, but it wasn't something pre-planned or really thought about or intellectualized, but I'm very happy. I'll never kind of not use accordion ever again because I just love it so much. I'm just really becoming a bit more experimental with different sounds, you know. Generally when I write songs, process is quite different for each song. I'll start writing a melody on the guitar, and a vocal melody, and a first line will just come to me, and that really dictates the rest of the song. Most of my songs have a huge part of me in them, but sometimes I'll have a conversation with someone and I'll find their story finding its way into my songs. They're emotion-led as opposed to head-led. You know.
The studio, very briefly, is a room in a house. It kind of came about because of the whole freeing up of technology that allowed people to record in their bedrooms. And this is just not a bedroom, it's a room. But it's in a house, and the only thing I did to it was I got really good acoustics done, but I recorded in the whole house as well. So.
But we were lucky because it's a small band, so we all fitted into this room.
Yeah.
I've seen footage of Dan's other recordings where he's got like people outside and upstairs.
Shoulders, I can do it all over and over, over and over, again and again. We kissed times 1,000 more to come, and I can't wait for each and every one with you.
I sometimes record drums up in the loft here because it's got a very woody sloped ceiling and it's got a beautiful sound. So you can find quite inventive sound spaces in a home. With Laurie it was quite interesting because this room, which is the mixing room, and I do a lot of single tracking, in other words one instrument, one voice. Here, we decided, it was actually Laurie's drummer Ruben Samuels who came in and said, no, let's just put the drums in here and we'll all be in the same space. And so we squeezed in, and it's a 4-piece, and it fitted fine, and I think it gave the album a real heart. great spirit in going and finding the right instrument instead of trying to manipulate it. We discovered together a ukulele. We had no idea. We'd seen them, you know, big Hawaiian guys play them. And we used it, we borrowed it one from a friend, used it in one song. And you know, we've all bought them now. This baritone guitar made by amazing luthier that came up with this design, and the shape is just really whack. But it's just the most beautiful instrument. You know, he's mentioned things like accordion, flugelhorn, trumpet, there's brass, there's some trumpet and sax. So we're trying to get every instrument to push as much air as possible. It's very, very far away from a big studio sound. We were looking for a much woodier, more earthy sound.
I spent a lot of time on the voice, so I think I've started really getting into recording vocals more.
Yeah, I know the studio is an instrument, and it's just like adding another instrument to the band. So it's it's a bit of an adventure how you record each instrument. And the voice in Laurie's music is very much at the heart of it all. And obviously the songs, but it's, you know, you're very aware of the sort of soul of the piece is the voice.